Welcome into another edition of Diamond Talk on the Southeastern Sports Network. Jay Lindley, now joined by Coach Zach Crabtree. In the last couple of weeks, we've talked about how hitting can be contagious. Fortunately, you guys go on the road this week. It's like the Bats had a case of the flu. You guys had 3 runs. The good news is you at least take 1 of 3 in the series against Arkansas Tech.
For sure. Our bats, I think we left them here in Durant. We did not hit well, and some of that's to do with their pitching. Those guys they wasn't overpowering anything. They just came straight at you with a lot of tempo, and we didn't respond real well. But like you said, we got 1 out of 3, and basically Ark Tech did what they're supposed to do. A good team's supposed to win the series at home, and like I told our guys, we wasn't happy with the outcome of it, but we got to take the positives, and we didn't get swept. We scored 3 runs on the weekend and won a game. You know, thank goodness to Mason Whitmarsh's outstanding performance again. And we played really well, really good defense in game 2. Game 1 and 3, our defense really shot us in the foot and put us behind early in both games. In our batch, like I said, we didn't hit like we had been the previous 2 weeks, and so we struggled a little bit, and it was just all the way around. It was the offense and defense, and some of that has to do with Arkansas Tech. I think they're a very good team. They're very athletic. They do a good job putting pressure on you, and we just got to get back to work and today and get ready. We got a big week ahead of us with 4 games, and got to try to get 3 or 4 W's.
Of course, you've got the conference series coming up with Harding, but explain a little bit a non-conference matchup with East Central. I know people will look at the schedule and go, that's not right, but it actually is a non-conference outing.
Correct. It's a non-conference. I think a lot of college teams started doing this after the Big 12, I think, started with playing midweek non-conference conference games, you know, with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State playing and some of those guys. And it's just a built-in rivalry, which adds to it. And then we get, you know, their first-year head coach was an assistant of mine at Murray State for 7 years. So it'll be a good rivalry added on top of what we already have between Southeastern and East Central. So they've been playing a lot better of late. You know, they played really well this weekend at Harding, won a game and had a chance to win game 3. And so they're playing better, and hopefully we'll wake back up and it'll be a good contest and make sure the good guys come out on top.
You mentioned going up against a former assistant. I would assume it's a lot different coaching baseball than perhaps the other sports like football or basketball, where, you know, if you worked with a guy like that, you have a tendency to know maybe what type of plays they like to run, things like that. Baseball is a lot different when it comes to that type of strategy.
For sure. We both know each other very well, so there's not going to be any secrets. Like I said, we were side by side for 7 years and won a whole lot of baseball games together. And so, you know, it's good to see a guy that worked for you or with you for 7 years get a chance to be a head coach, and just hope that you know, we can beat them all 5 times this year.
Of course, you got the matchup coming up with Harding as well. Talk a little bit about the Bisons and what they bring to the table.
They're a very fundamental sound team. They do all the little things. You look at all the team standings in the conference. They're number 1 in defense. They don't make mistakes. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to pitch the ball well, throw strikes, and beat up the strike zone. And so we're going to have to do the things that we've been able to do when we're successful. We're going to have to throw strikes. We're going to have to play good defense, and then we're going to have to put some pressure on them offensively. And so they're not overwhelming. They just do the little things that make baseball a really neat sport. You don't have to be the most physical team or the fastest or throw it the hardest. You just got to do the little things right to compete and win, and that's what they do. And that's what they were doing at the end of last year, as good as anybody in the conference. They just started off so slow. That's why they didn't make the conference tournament. And this year they kind of started off hot. I think they're 6-3 maybe in conference, or 7-2. I'm not sure, one of the two. But they're off to a good start, and they're kind of built off where they left off last year. And like I said, they're very fundamentally sound. They do a good job. They don't beat themselves, so we're going to have to go out and play good baseball and win the series.
Of course, recently, for those that have been following along, the town of Durant and the town of Searcy were both in this bid for the small business revolution, and Searcy won. You're the first athletic team to represent Durant since that defeat. Does that add some pressure?
No, it doesn't add some pressure. Maybe we can get all the fans from Durant out, have a big support Friday and Saturday of our community, and prove to the Revolution that they picked the wrong town. So No, it'll be fun. You know, they do a good job. Yeah, they got a nice town, a nice campus, and so do we. And so it'll be fun. The most important thing for us is to go out and win the series and keep us in track and paced and compete for a conference championship when it gets to the end.
You mentioned that, and looking at the conference standings as of right now, you guys have opened up conference play against the top 5 teams in the conference. You get into the back half of the schedule with what currently is the bottom 5. Does that perhaps add a little confidence to kind of your outlook going forward?
Yeah, I think so. You know, there's some teams that started off with some of the teams that were picked at the lower half of the conference, and they've done okay, and now they're going to get into the tougher teams. We started off with 3 teams that were picked ahead of us in the conference, and we won 2 series and won a game on the road in the last series. And so we've put ourselves in good shape through 3 series. Not as good as we'd like to be, but we're better than we were last year, and we're right in the middle of things as far as the conference race goes with what our schedule is, what other people have played. And so we just got to continue to keep doing what's best for us, and that's throw strikes, play a better defense than we have been, and get more consistency on offense. You know, we still got some guys that are very good hitters that aren't hitting what their career stats say they should be, and so if we get those guys going, confident that we'll be okay.
Again, talking with Coach Zach Crabtree, head coach of Savage Storm baseball. Coach, as always, appreciate the time.
Thank you, and go Storm, and good luck to both our men's and women's basketball teams this weekend in Bartlesville. Bring back a couple championships.
Again, more Southeastern baseball to come after this on the Southeastern Sports Network.